So why doesn't your overthinking stop? Sometimes I be asking myself this question because I be overthinking. I be having moments where I be feeling so overwhelmed that I don't even know what to do, right? I'm like, I got a lot of things that, make me content, that make me happy, and is making me think, do the things that I have is enough to make me happy, or is there something deeper? Welcome everybody to the Rally Cry podcast. I am your host, Angel Rios, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you want to get better every day, even if that's 1%. And I just want to say, right, although I am someone that really loves the field of self-improvement, mental health, and all these things, and I am a mentor, I'm still someone that is learning. I'm still a student. So if there's something that you hear throughout this time and something comes up to your mind and you think this is something that helps you, then leave it down below. It might help me. It might also help someone else that might be listening or just watching. You never know. It could be that one instance and it could save a life. So don't look at me as someone that knows it all, but someone that is trying to understand. It's just so that we can live a lot more happier, healthier, and more healed. So today we're going to be talking about why is your overthinking just continuously going and going and going, and it just feels like it doesn't stop. And to a point, it almost feels like it's burnout, right? It's like there's so many things going on. Maybe decision fatigue is that thing. And these are things that I was even thinking about, right? I've encountered burnout so many times to a point where it makes me feel like I don't want to do anything. It makes me feel like I'm not enough. It feels like that maybe I should just give up. Although these are feelings, it's not the reality that I'm going to accept them by. My actions is going to be something that solidify of who I am. What I feel and what I think are not always to be true. It's just an experience that we're having because, that's the point, right? The point is to feel the ups and downs. And, it's one of those quotes that I love from Jay Shetty. And actually, he was talking to a couple of students, and it was a presentation. And one of the things he said is that if you think about it, when you're in the hospital and they're checking your heart pulse to make sure you're alive, right? You see the grid, it goes line, right? Just a straight line means, that person died. You're dead, right? If you have a straight line, you're dead. But when it goes like boop, 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 and you see the ups and downs, it means you're alive. And if we can use that representation to understand that, the ups and downs is when you're living, and if you live a straight line, that means you're dead, right? Metaphorically speaking, of course, right? But I feel like we think that it should always be this continuum of happiness, right? And it's not. And I think when it comes to overthinking, everybody overthinks, right? It's a normal thing. I be overthinking. But what makes it really bad and what makes it where we have to talk about it more is that if it limits you, right? And I think there's a lot of stressors to it. Like someone that has, a job, a career, right? Like my career, I love the work that I do, right? I'm a therapy mentor. I work over at Lorenzi Health, which is a new establishment, and I've learned a lot about what it is to be a mentor, what it is to be a therapist, as I'm going to get my master's in social work so that I can lead more into that profession. And if it's your job, if it's your relationships that you have with your friends, your significant other, your finances, your family, right? How are those relationships are, right? It can be overwhelming, right? The state of the world, what's going on, right? For example, this AI is making it so much more complex. Like we have to catch up and we're overthinking, oh, what can I do to stand out? Or what can I do to just be? And so people could recognize me, give me attention, something. I need some validation. Whatever it is, we overthink it. We keep trying to find innovative ways. And I wouldn't even say that's a bad thing. It's not bad that you're overthinking to the point that you're just trying to figure out more of who you are. It's not bad when you're overthinking because you're just trying to figure things out. But it's bad when you're continuously trying to figure it out and you still haven't figured it out, right? I always say journal. That's one of the things. And I want to talk a little bit more what that is, right? Because I think, right? You see what I did there? Sometimes we feel like with all these things that stress us out, we're not enough. We're not enough in our job, in our career. We're not enough in our relationships. We're not enough when it comes to being provide, especially as a man, right? I'm sure if you're a guy and you're listening to this, you want to be able to have the finances so that you can provide for your family, provide for your significant other, and of course, provide for yourself comfortably. Not feeling like you spend one thing and you got nothing, right? But I think what it is that we have to really calm down to a point where we can reflect, right? Because I've seen things that say, oh, you just got to calm down. You got to distract yourself. But I disagree. I don't think you should distract yourself from the overthinking. Instead of overthinking, maybe we should start thinking over, switching it, and really thinking about the thing that is making us overthink. Let's think over the things that is stressing us out. So I want you to ask yourself some questions, right? You might have heard it before, but the what, how, and why. What is stressing you? Ask yourself that question. How is it stressing you? And why is it stressing you? I feel like these questions are questions that go from the top to the bottom, right? The what is stressing you could be like a coworker, right? It could be someone in your family, right? And then maybe they're having this kind of conversation with you that is just so upsetting and you don't even want to talk about it. It's just stressing me out. I don't want to talk about it. Or I don't want to go through this. Or I don't want to do that, right? I've had a couple times where, maybe I'm just trying to come over just to chill with family and just have a good time. But then I get up into a conversation that I don't really want to be in, right? Who's been there? I'm pretty sure many of us has been in that situation. I just want to hang out. I don't really want to talk about problems right now because right now I'm trying to relax from any problems that I might have, any issues, challenges that I might have, right? So that is that thing that can be stressing me. It can be stressing you, right? And how it's stressing me is because I'm trying to relax. I'm trying to not deal with anything right now. I don't have the energy or capacity right now. This allows you to reflect about what it is and how it's affecting you, right? Because something, the what, it can be a stressor, right? It can stress you out. What it is can stress you out. But how it's stressing you out goes a little bit deeper. And then why it's stressing you out goes a little bit deeper. I want you to go as deep as you can. I'm talking about all the way back to your childhood traumas because I'm telling you, it be coming back to that. It could be not even a traumatic experience. It could be something that when you was a kid, when you was younger, you was longing for this. And maybe that's why it's stressing you out. Or whatever that was that you've gone through is triggering you, is reminding you. And of course, right? Like when we're going through certain stuff, we don't want to be reminded of what stresses us out, right? We don't. We're like, oh, we got rid of that. We don't need that. I don't want to think about it again. I already thought about it enough. We get it. But the thing is that to be able to overcome your overthinking, right? You see, I'm just liking these puns that I'm doing, okay? I get a little excited, all right? Because I want you to really think, but not overthink. Right? So how can we problem solve? Let's go back to the scenario I was talking about when I went to go visit my family members and, they're talking about an issue I don't want to talk about, right? Because I don't got the energy for that, right? The problem solving to that, I can, of course, address it to them. I'm like, hey, I don't want to talk about that right now. Let's talk about this another day. Or I can, make sure that I'm there for a certain amount of time so that they don't get enough space for them then to talk to me about it. And I want you to know that when it comes to the overthinking, when it comes to the situation that you're feeling overwhelmed, it comes with the little things. It comes with situations like your family members. It comes with the situations with your partner, right? It comes with the situation of how you feel with your career, your job, your finances. These are a whole bunch of things. I'm just giving you the family aspect with these examples. Whatever it is, I want you to try to have a reflectiveness on how can we get away from this overthinking, that thing that we're overthinking. And it comes with reflecting and finding ways to problem solve that situation, this circumstance, this issue, problem, right? So I think when it comes to overthinking, we're hopeful and we're wishful. Oh, I hope this don't happen. Oh, I wish this don't happen. Or I'm praying that this don't happen, right? We almost place a bet on ourselves. Place a bet on something that we might not even have control over of. But we can have control on our response and our actions towards that circumstance, right? So in the situation, right, how can I problem solve? It would be more of, well, I am going to make sure that I'm not around for that long because I know what I'm going to get myself into. I have more control to take myself out of a situation than to be in the situation and hope for it not to happen, right? I think that's the overthinking part, hoping something not to happen. And it's good to have hope. But then there's also the hopeless romantic aspect, right? Is the I'm hoping that this is going to be the case. But then when it comes to the case, it's not exactly what we hope for. And then we're disappointed. And then we're burnt out. And now we're overthinking about that thing that we were already overthinking about, right? You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're going to keep thinking about it, right? You want to put yourself in a situation where you give yourself space. Something that I've done that I really think about doing again is going back to that meditation retreat for 10 days. 10 whole days with no phone, no notebook, no book, absolutely nothing. And the reason why I say that is because I've learned so much from that experience. And I encourage anybody that is overthinking to take time to go for a walk, go journal. And if you need someone, talk to someone about it. Because there's nothing wrong with asking for help. You need to take a break from the thing that you're thinking about because then it's really going to break you, right? We want to break through, right? Not break down. We want to think it over, not overthink it over, right? So I hope that everybody that has listened, that you get something from this. And mind you, I'm a student. And if there's something that I haven't mentioned here that has worked for you or you know has worked for someone else, leave a comment down below. And make sure that you follow on your favorite podcast platform. And you can also follow on Instagram at The Rally Cries. And I'm just so glad that I'm able to have this space. And before we go, I just want to leave you with a quote. It was one of my favorite quotes that I wrote down. And every so often, I go through my book of quotes that I've written down just to get some inspiration and some motivation. And one of the quotes is, be strong enough to stand alone, smart enough to know when you need help, and brave enough to ask for it. So remember, be strong, keep thriving, and just know if you do need some help, ask for it. Because sometimes things happen bigger than you can ever imagine. And just make sure that you take one step at a time. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Happy Tuesday. June is here, and I'm hoping that, it gets a little bit hotter because as we know, it hasn't been that hot yet. So you guys stay blessed. Be easy. Peace.